Hi, folks. This video is just to clarify some points about peer editing, in case there's some confusion or question about that, and I'm kind of anticipating what may come up in your reflections for this week. So I'll go ahead and talk a little bit about it. So, if you look at your discussion boards in your groups, I put questions for peer editing in there. As I believe I mentioned in a previous video, you're not wed to doing your peer editing via that discussion board necessarily. I put the questions there because it's fairly easy to upload drafts to your discussion board and so on to have your stuff sort of in a repository in that regard. But you can certainly peer edit via email, in any other capacity that you as a group members deem to be necessary for what you need to do, and given your schedules and so on. I'm not so much concerned with all that. You all are adults. You all can figure that out. You want your work to be peer edited by at least one person. For some of you, you may be asked to peer edit more than once. That's all, of course, going to be going to come up in your reflection for this coming week, for week 4. That's my next point. You don't turn in the peer edit responses to me directly. You return those to the person or persons whose work you have peer edited. Your response to me, I should say, or your responsibility to me with regard to peer editing is going to be in the weekly reflection for week 4. You'll talk about, I've got some lead-in questions with regard specifically to the peer edit for the annotated bibliography, as well as other questions with regard to the drafting of the annotated bibliography and other things like I have been having in previous weeks and such. So and also and this is another point that I want to mention. If for whatever reason the person who's supposed to peer edit your work and so on, if that person doesn't get back to you and so on and so forth, or for whatever reason you can't find someone to peer edit your work, all of that, the crazy scenarios that can and have come up over the many years that I have been teaching these courses, in that respect, you just talk about that and reflect upon that and vent about that, if you will, in your reflection, right? In your weekly reflection. Okay, I am not going to make your grade contingent upon someone else's negligence, right, or lack of negligence. Okay, if someone is not participating and it is hindering you, your recourse is to express that in your weekly reflection. That's why I'm not asking for the peer edit stuff to be turned into me directly. If you have a question with regard to a peer editing item or something to that effect, you can always text me, and I will respond accordingly. Okay, I hope that clears up some anxiety. Just know that you are not responsible for somebody else's negligence. I mean, frankly, for the most part, we've had fantastic participation in this course so far, so I'm not anticipating, quote unquote negligence, but just know, right, and that I am not gonna slash your grade, if you will, based on what somebody else did not do, right? Based on somebody else's lack of effort. I'm putting this out here because we were a little bit slow on the uptake as far as participation goes, as far as getting back to one another on the discussion boards and so forth. A lot of you have moved the bulk of your discussions to email or to text. I applaud that. given the schedules that some of you have, that's the best way to go about doing some of this, and I understand that. Okay, I applaud your ingenuity and your willingness to make this course work, and all that you are putting into it. Okay, have a wonderful Saturday evening. I'll probably start looking at your weekly reflections and your drafts that you're turning in today. I'll probably start looking at those Sunday. Oh well, it depends. Maybe Monday, but I will be looking at those and getting you feedback as well. All right. Thanks a lot.